From Las Vegas, Nevada, the entertainment capital of the world, I'm David Gabry, and this is the Vegas Faces podcast, where we talk with Las Vegas locals about what it's really like to live in the City of Lights. Whether you're living in Vegas, moving to Vegas, or just visiting Vegas and looking for new adventures, together let's discover the hidden gems that make Sin City the most visited place on earth. Hey everybody, welcome to Vegas Faces, where we talk about the people of Las Vegas and we find out what it's really like to live in the entertainment capital of the world. We have an awesome guest here today. Caitlin Duffy is in studio. She is a mortgage lender with Union Home Mortgage and also an Army veteran who's very involved in the veteran community right here in Las Vegas. Caitlin, welcome to Vegas Faces.
Hey, David. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. Thanks for being here today. How's it going?
For sure. It's been a great day, great week. I'm loving the fact that it's warm now.
Finally.
We had such a long winter.
We did. And it just kind of shot up to middle of summer, like in the middle of spring.
We knew that was going to happen. When it was in the 50s or when it snowed April 2nd, at that moment, I was like, it's going to be 100 degrees next week. And we're going to have zero spring.
Like at the beginning of April, they kept saying like triple digits by the end of April.
Mm-hmm.
So
we had 3 weeks of in between. Well, we're Vegas.
Which, this is episode 9. And for 8 episodes, I've been saying, oh, the Vegas heat, just 2 months, no biggie. Meanwhile, we're in April and it's burning up. So now it kind of like leveled out. It's like a nice lead into summer.
Exactly.
Caitlin, I'm fascinated by your mortgage backgrounds. I am a real estate agent. I feel like we're all part of the same world in some way or another. Yep. I feel like we all get asked the same question, especially the main one. How's the market, right?
Right.
People always ask you that.
Oh, yeah, all the time. People walk up and say, what are the interest rates? Like, give me the 15 criteria that you want and I'll tell you.
Right. It's never that simple. It's always like, hey, should I buy a house? And I'm like, well, what's your situation? What are we looking at? There are a lot of factors. That's a big purchase. It's not like, hey, should I buy these pair of shoes?
Right. Exactly. Yeah. You can't just return them.
It is what it is. We're kind of at the forefront, especially in the way that the economy is right now, the way the housing is right now. People are scared. Maybe they're nervous, anxious, frustrated, all of the above. And when they see people like us, they're like, oh,
tell me
everything I need to know.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's almost kind of like watching the news where you're like, or watching the weather where somebody can say something and then the next day it will be the opposite. And they're like, well, sorry. You know what I mean? Like there's no way to actually predict it. No, it's definitely an interesting market. That's for sure. This last 13 months, what was it, March of last year, that everything kind of went crazy. Has been a little interesting, but I feel in the last, I'd say 4 or 5 months, it's calmed down. People have gotten over the shock, the interest rate shock of what rates are and what it costs to buy a home that should be realistic. You know what I mean? A healthy economy has interest rates over 5%. The reason why we had lower is because the economy wasn't healthy. So we had to force people to buy homes. And now we're having this huge housing shortage because we all have all these people that have 2%, 3% interest rates, just and they don't want to sell.
Yeah, why should they?
Why should they? Why would they? So no, these people, there's nowhere else to buy. So the housing shortage is definitely an interesting thing to go for. I've been in the mortgage industry for over 10 years now.
Wow. Okay.
And this is the first shortage I've experienced. So it's an interesting market. And I have 4 or 5 quote unquote experts that I listen to, blogs and all that. And all 4 of them are saying 4 completely different things.
Interesting.
So,
I mean, no one knows the future. Even, I listen to finance podcasts. I want to know what's going on in the stock market. They don't know.
Nobody knows.
And they tell you they don't know. They're just like, here's my opinion based on the charts that I'm looking at, based on historical numbers.
Exactly. Like Barry Habib is a good one. He goes back and he'll be like, all right, based from 1972 when we started tracking, this is what we think is going to happen. Who knows? But, that's what we thought was going to happen at the early, 2020. And then guess what happened? COVID and then Russia and then
Black Swan events.
Yeah. So all these things just, throw into the market. There's no way for us to predict.
Wow. So 10 years in, what was it like when you first got into it?
So I actually started kind of in real estate. I had just gotten out of the Army. I did Army for 10 years and I was stationed at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, and got a job as a transaction coordinator for a real estate agent. And it was just me trying to figure out what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. I was a mechanic in the Army and I knew I did not want to do that. So I had to completely transition my life at, late 20s. So I was working as a transaction coordinator. She had a preferred lender who then converted me over and basically said, hey, that office is yours if you want it. I still work for that same company. So
wow, good for you.
Went in, started answering phones, was his LOA, and, kind of moved up the ladder. And then they moved me out here to Vegas in 2018 to open the West Coast division.
Was that your first time living in Las Vegas?
Oh, God, no. Okay, so I am technically originally from California, Central Coast. My parents both went to UNLV, so they met here. So growing up, K through 12, we came here for summers, Christmas, Thanksgiving, all of that. My aunts and uncles were here. My grandparents were here. So, I still remember the spaghetti bowl, the 95 being linked to the spaghetti bowl in like the mid 90s.
And you're not talking about a literal spaghetti bowl for people that don't know.
Sorry. Yes, the 95-15 spaghetti bowl at downtown Vegas. That used to be
freeways merging.
The freeways all merge. It's 4 freeways that all spin in different circles. And from the above, it looks like a giant spaghetti bowl.
Yeah, like you can see you're about to be at the strip, but you're also closer to downtown. It's just a big merge.
A big merge of all the highways, yes. So I remember them adding the
when
95.
They were building that.
When they were building that, yeah. So the original, there was 2 highways, kind of like what they're doing with Centennial Hills right now.
Ooh, okay.
Where the highways crossed, and now they're like, no, we just have to make a whole bowl out of it. That's what they did in the 80s and 90s downtown.
Fascinating. So before that, it was just roads. It was just like Charleston Boulevard and Sahara.
Well, the 15 went up, and then you had to like exit and go through 2 stoplights to hit the 95 North.
Wow.
There was like the population was
Yeah,
400,000.
zero traffic.
Yeah, not 2.8 million people like we have now. It was 400,000. So it was okay.
Do you feel like there's traffic here?
God, no.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh my gosh. No, not
I don't either. Yeah.
I can get anywhere in Vegas in 20 minutes, Henderson in 30.
Yep. That's considered far for us locals. 30 minutes.
So I drive all over town all the time.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. Okay.
But I don't mind it. I will have days where I live in downtown Summerlin, so on the west side. So I will go from downtown Summerlin to downtown Fremont Street because I used to live there and most of my friends are there. That's kind of my network. So I'll go down there and then I'll go up to my office in Centennial and then I'll go visit my sister in Aliante and then go to Southwest to go to a signing and home. And that's a typical day and it does not bother me.
It's good. It's easy to get around this town.
Easy.
I had a job in Houston out of college that Houston, you could drive an hour and still be in Houston.
Oh my gosh.
So here it's like, you drive an hour, you're gone from Vegas in an hour. So it's very easy to navigate. If you have to drive 30 minutes to Henderson, so be it. I love that the airport is less than 30 minutes away.
Easy. Yeah.
I visit my family in Houston. The airport's easily an hour away. Same when I lived in Chicago, hour with traffic, maybe 2 hours. So
right.
We are very spoiled here in Las Vegas.
Definitely. And I've lived all over. I was in the military for years. And so I've lived overseas. I've lived in 7 states and 3 countries. So I've been everywhere.
Wow.
And I will tell you that Vegas is the easiest place to get around.
No kidding. What countries?
Saudi Arabia, Germany, and then I deployed to Iraq and Kuwait.
Wow. So you're used to hotter than Vegas.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yes, 100.
What are like some of the numbers out there?
We had a 10-day period where our low was 128.
God, that was Saudi Arabia? Where was that?
That was Iraq.
Oh man,
that was southern Iraq.
Oh boy.
Yeah, and then
and you're wearing army gear. It's not like you're not wearing bathing suit and flip-flops.
Full battle rattle, helmets, gear, in a truck. I was a 50.
Can't jump in a pool.
No, none of that. No, you don't want to drink with hot water. It's worse than pool party water. But yeah, no, it was hot, and you'd be on the top of a truck as a gunner, and it was like having a blow dryer in your face all the time.
Oh man, so just jugs of water constantly?
All the time.
Oh man.
Yeah, I still remember, this is disgusting, taking off your army uniform, and it's a thick canvas, and you could take it off and lay it down on your bed, and an hour later when it dried, you could have it stick straight up because of all the salt from your sweat. It's almost like it was starched.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. That was fun. So I don't complain about Vegas.
Wow. When you brought up downtown, I want to know, do you have any favorite spots, like happy hours, brunches, lunches, dinners, all of the above?
That's my favorite thing about Las Vegas.
Yeah?
All of that. Yeah. So when I first moved here, I temporarily lived in the suburbs just to kind of get my feet wet and figure out what I wanted to do. And then I promptly moved to the Ogden, which is a high rise in Fremont Street.
Beautiful high rise, yeah.
Yes. And I'm talking like it's on Fremont Street. It's all locals.
You get the full downtown experience.
The full thing. You can see who has covers. You can see where there's lines. I'm south facing, so you get this beautiful strip view. Plus, you get the mountains on the sunset and sunrise, like the whole thing. Fremont East is fantastic. Corridor is my favorite spot. Eureka's awesome. I like all of the Cornerstone bar. Cornerstone owns a bunch of the locations down there. Great owners, very military friendly. And they have tons of good deals. So being a downtown local is so much fun.
Wow. I feel like I don't explore downtown enough like I should. And
well, you're living the suburb life.
I'm such a basic suburb guy, but downtown always appealed to me. When I moved to Vegas as a poker player, and I knew poker players that first, what's that tower? Panorama Towers?
Panorama, yeah.
Like that was like the first
that was a thing.
Like hype, whatever. But then when the Ogden was built, they all flocked to the Ogden. So I've been to the Arts District. I've been to Container Park and all the spots, Fremont.
All the spots.
But I go there without a plan. And every time me and my wife were like, let's go downtown. Let's be like eccentric. Let's have fun. We're like, but where do we go? Like Esther's Kitchen, maybe? Like, I don't know. We're not too well versed on where to go.
You have to get used to like what days have the best deals and where the locals go versus where the tourists go.
Okay.
I think that's the coolest thing about Vegas is that, so, you know, I lived in the Ogden for 3 years and I partaked in all of Las Vegas. So all of the vices, I have so much fun. I don't gamble. That's the reason I don't pay property taxes because you gamble for me and you pay all of our property tax, which is amazing. But no, I just have so much fun in like the whole Vegas scene. And it's fun because Vegas people will say like, well, I never go to the Strip. I'm like, what are you talking about? I always go to the fucking Strip. It's so much fun. Like, why not?
Like, what are you, too cool for school? Like, come on, it's like there. It's why Vegas exists.
And if you're part of any of the networks, they have the Pogo Pass where you pay like $50 a year. And randomly, it's always same day. So you have to have a spontaneous lifestyle. They'll be like, hey, we have free tickets, VIP to Aerosmith or whoever's in town or any of the residencies. Like I've gotten front row like VGK tickets. We went to an Aces game, and it's all through these free passes because they want locals to come down.
Explain this again. This is PogoPass.com.
It's a Pogo Pass. ThePogoPass.com. There's one for kids where they
just pay like a yearly membership and they just send you emails like, hey, here, tickets.
They text you. I got a text this morning that says, do you want to go to game 2 VGK? $108, second row.
Wow.
Center ice. Do you want to go? And you just text back, want 4.
Wow. That's amazing. I've heard of stuff like that. Like, is it like last minute, like day of?
I mean, I got one for for game 2, which is more than a week out.
Oh, very nice.
Typically, it's within 2 to 3 days though.
Okay.
Wow. So I'm down doing stuff like that all the time. I've been to all the Cirque shows. I like doing, you know, like I've been to the restaurant at the top of the Paris and the top of the Stratosphere. And I like stuff like that. So it's fun to be able to go and experience Vegas and then come home and just not have to travel. Like I did Vegas for a day and now I'm home and I get to sleep in my own bed. How cool is that?
Yeah. Like when we first started visiting Vegas, first we obviously stayed on the Strip and then we decided, let's stay a little bit off the Strip. That way we can experience the madness and the chaos, but then also
get away from it.
You know, have every button on the elevator pushed like to our room.
Right.
You know, like an elevator ride doesn't need to take 30 minutes to get to your room.
Exactly.
You know, little things like that. Okay. So Strip versus downtown. If you had to flip a coin, if you had to only pick one.
Oh, downtown for sure.
No kidding. Okay. What's your like number one spot downtown?
Corduroy. I'd say Corduroy right on East Fremont.
Okay. Restaurant,
or
bar.
Pizza Rock. It's a bar. Yeah.
Okay.
And then right across is Pizza Rock with it, which is pizza and beer and just, you know, fun.
A good time.
And a good time. Yeah. You can get a slice of pizza and a beer for $5.
Love that. I love it. That brings me back to Chicago. When I first moved to Chicago, they had the PB&J special. It was a PBR, a shot of Jameson, and a slice of pizza for like $6.
That sounds amazing.
I lived off of that for like my first year of Chicago.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Have you been to, what's the other pizza place? Blanking on the name.
Pizza Rock, which is like a block over and north.
Okay.
Yes. No, that one's really good too. That one's more of a sports bar, which is really cool because for me, I'm a huge sports fan. So typically Fremont, unless you're in a casino, it's not really sports bars. It's mostly like they want more of like an artsy culture. You know what I mean? So if you want to go and have a drink and watch a game, you're either at Eureka or you're up at a pizza place or you're down at Circa.
Okay. Have you been to Evil Pie for pizza?
Oh, yeah.
How do you like that? How does that one compare? I haven't tried the other two.
I mean, I don't think I've ever had it prior to 2 a.m. That's like my 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. spot. So let me tell you, it's delicious, but you know, my frame of mind.
You're totally bringing me back to my like years when I didn't have kids. Me and my wife, we're like, oh my God, what are we? Even if we wanted to rage at this point, we are still tired and falling asleep by like 10 o'clock. Like we just don't have it. Like my wife had friends from Chicago come to town. They're like, come on, we got like bottle service. We got a table, the whole thing. And yeah, after like 10:30, she's calling me. She's like, I'm tired. Like, we just can't. So I'm living vicariously through all of your experiences and all your recommendations. I love it.
Well, which is funny because I can totally flip a switch and turn into the complete other person of suburbs. Like my mom, my 2 sisters, and my 2 brothers all live here. My nephews are all here. My partner's here. He has 2 kids. And, you know, we'll go out every once in a while, but typically they're living the very suburb life. My sister's a school teacher here at CCSD. And so we'll do stuff like we'll go to, you know, hiking at the Red Rock and we'll do, you know, the water parks and we do very family friendly stuff. And what's really cool about Vegas is you can do both. You can be both people. You can party on the weekends and live a super wholesome, family-friendly life all week.
Totally. It's a really good blend and neither are too far from each other.
Exactly.
Really nice. Okay, so tell me a little bit about the veteran community that you're involved in. Just go.
Yeah.
Why even keep asking?
Yeah, so there's a huge veteran network here in Las Vegas, and I don't think that unless you're in the military network, you don't realize how many they are. Or even if you are, a military veteran and you're living here, you might not realize that you are surrounded by military veterans. I mean, take away, so Nellis has like 12,000 airmen active duty.
Fast, back up. So Nellis Air Force Base in North Las Vegas?
Nellis Air Force Base is in North Las Vegas. They have 12,000 personnel that are stationed there.
Wow.
And that's not including their spouses and children and all of that. Wow. And then Creech Air Force Base is about 40 minutes north. It's a little bit past Lee Canyon, which is our ski resort.
Okay. Close to Mount Charleston?
Yeah, just past Mount Charleston. Oh, wow. And they have, I want to say like 4,500 people that are stationed there. That's not including their spouses and children.
And that's also an Air Force Base or just
also
an
Air Force Base.
Why the Air Force Base? Why did they choose Vegas? Do you have any idea?
I don't know why they chose Vegas for Nellis. I mean, I think in my opinion, in all military bases, it's because it was cheap land at the time. At the time, it was in the middle of nowhere. We grew out to it. But before, I mean, Nellis has been there since the 60s. So, I mean, that was a big Air Force base before the Strip had blown up. And it was 40 minutes outside of Vegas back then.
Yeah, okay.
And now we have neighborhoods literally surrounding it. So,
wow, okay.
And then Creech is 30 minutes north, but it's up in BLM land. So we won't grow into that area. So, but that's where they do all of the drones and, area.
All the testings and
all
stuff
the
like
testings. That? Yeah. The military testings and the test sites and stuff is up there. So, but there's tons of personnel. And then if you look at just veterans, so not even people that are currently active duty, we have 120,000 veterans in Vegas, in Clark County, I should say. Huge veteran community, a big retirement area. If you go to like the Sun City, which is our retirement area, if you go in there, I want to say they said that they're 80% veterans, which is kind of typical for right now that age range. But, I'm part of the Southern Nevada Veteran Chamber of Commerce, and we have a huge following. Veteran Social is amazing, which is all for military people that are just trying to get out and meet each other, and anybody that's feeling alone or have lost a brother, and, they can get out there. And have you ever heard of Leatherneck Club?
I have not. I don't feel cool, Caitlin. I feel like I should know.
So Leatherneck Club it's a marine bar, but of course it's military. They call themselves a marine bar, but it's a military bar.
Fun.
Yeah.
What part of town?
It is right near like Chinatown. So it's like Decatur.
I love Chinatown.
I know, right? So like like Decatur and Spring Mountain.
Oh yeah. That's my area.
So it's in a little strip mall. It's awesome. Wow. You walk in. It's the friendliest bar that I've ever been to in Vegas.
It's called
Leatherneck.
Okay.
Yes, which it's a marine term, so any marine would understand.
So if I go to a military bar, what am I supposed to order so that I fit in and I don't stick out?
No, you just walk in and it's the most eclectic crowd you've ever been into. Like you'll have like some World War II guys, you'll have some like very like Vietnam looking like all of the motorcycle clubs go there. And then you'll have like me and my girlfriends in like dresses and heels getting a high top table, ordering cocktails. So it's very eclectic, but they're fun. Everybody there is amazing and it's very welcoming. So if you walk in, you do not have to be military. Like the locals there love it. The drinks are cheap. So
all right,
get drunk for $20 is awesome. But you walk in and the first thing they say, they're like, hey, are you from here? Are you visiting? Were you military? Come hang out. Like it's not a stuffy bar where they just say, what can I get you? Like they want to know your name when you sit down.
Yeah. I feel like that's all of Vegas. Customer service here on or off the strip. You're like, wow, they were so nice. And then you think about like, there's so many restaurants here. Like you won't make it if you're not nice. Like you have to.
The competition is very high. I mean, there's a restaurant opening every other day. So you have to be the best of the best.
Yeah, the only place I've experienced where the service was not good, but the food was so good that it didn't matter is the city of New Orleans. Specifically during Mardi Gras time, maybe just because it's so crowded that it's just a turnstile of people coming in and out, lines out the door around the building to get in. Right. So it was kind of just like, what do you want? Yeah. Oh, you don't care? You don't care that I'm not nice to you? All right, we'll get out. You see the line over there?
Right. Isn't that what Chicago's like? No,
I didn't experience that in Chicago. Okay. Yeah, sure. The big city, like Chicago and New York, you kind of get that like grumpy big city, but not inside of a bar or restaurant, at least through my experiences.
Okay. Very cool. Yeah, no, Vegas, I mean, we're a city of customer service and we're a city of food. So, I mean, I feel like if a famous chef is going to open up a restaurant, he's going to want the best of the best. Well, all of those people train under the best for 2 to 3 to 4 years. Well, if they hit that glass ceiling and they want to open their own restaurant, guess what? They're going to come to Summerlin or Aliante or Green Valley, and they're going to open up a restaurant, and they've been training under all of these amazing world-renowned chefs, and now they're going to open up a place in our suburbs, and they're going to hire the best of the best because their standards are so high. So I think that's one of the reasons we have the best food in Vegas.
If I say favorite restaurant, what first comes to mind?
I can't even.
Or how about Cuisine? Let's start with cuisine.
Tacos.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
no, tacos all day, every day.
Taco
Yes.
truck, taqueria.
All of it, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, if you go to Cerveza, which is a brewery in the Art District, they have taco trucks, and they have a different taco truck every day.
Okay.
And those are really fun. They have some of the best pizza truck I've ever been to.
And where can I find this?
Cerveza, it's in the Art District. It's right off of Main.
Okay.
So it's right near, I can't think of any of the bigger bars right there, but yeah, it's right off of Main Street.
Okay.
And they have a different taco truck every night.
Very nice.
And they're, I don't even know the names of the food trucks, but it's tacos, it's pizzas, they do a panini one. They have one where it's nothing but waffles.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. So
I love that. And
food.
can we get this before 2 a.m, or do I have to take a nap and then wake up, set an alarm and go in
no,
there?
what's awful is that there's 3 or 4 gyms within walking distance.
Of course, there always are.
Right.
There's always the temptation food right next to the
Yeah,
gym.
they do it on purpose. They're such jerks. So I would leave the gym at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon because, I'm self-employed. So my schedule's kind of crazy.
Yep.
Leave the gym at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I'd be feeling so good about myself because I just got like this HIIT workout class in, and then I see a stupid pizza truck. Ruined it all.
Yeah, but I don't know. For me, my motivation to exercise is just so that I can eat whatever I want. Like, that's really the goal. I'm not really, you want to be fit, you want to, whatever, look good. I don't really care. I just want to feel good, and I want to be able to eat whatever I want. So that's it.
I want to be healthy. I don't want to have issues with my doctor, and I want to be able to drink as much wine, whiskey, and bread as I want. That is all I want in my life.
There we go. Have you been to, speaking of tacos, I'm blanking on the name, but it's off of Sahara and maybe, let's say, Jones, and has a big sign on the front that just says best tacos in Vegas.
No, I have not, but now I have to find it.
Yeah, I'm going to have to Google it. We're going to have to
Okay.
find it. But it's I believe it's a 24-hour, that'll be a 2 a.m.
It's
spot.
not a Roberto's, right?
No.
Okay, thank
No, this is
goodness.
like a one.
Like a single
Yeah.
owned? Okay. I'll have to check it. I'm trying to think of that cross streets of why I would ever be driving in that area. I'm a highway girl, so in
Okay.
my head, if it's more than 2 miles away from a highway, I'm typically not there. So even when I house shop, I want to be 2 miles away
Right.
from a highway.
Okay. Okay.
So all of like the really inland places, I don't really explore.
Yeah. Caitlin, what sector of the armed forces were you in?
So I was in the Army,
Okay.
which is, my branch of service. And I was in for 10 years. I did 3 deployments, and 8 of it was active. And then I did a little bit of AGR, which is like a full-time reservist. And then I ended up getting out in 2012.
Wow. And do you come from like an Army family? Were you the first in your family to go to the Army?
No, so my grandpa was in the Army in World War II. I think everybody's grandpa was in the Army in World War II if they were that old. And then my dad, like I said, he went to UNLV here. And then when he graduated, he went to Vietnam. He was in the Navy. He was a CB, which is like their engineers, I think. But yeah, so he was a CB in the Navy. And then he went on to get his law degree. And I was raised in Central California. My dad was a presiding judge of Central Coast, California. And then my mom was in the medical field. So I come from very like highly educated, very pristine, like my parents are wonderful.
So they probably wanted you to go to school?
Yeah,
perhaps?
I still remember my dad asking me if it was beginning of my junior year, and I was a little bit of not a flake, I just was kind of a wanderer, And it was beginning of my junior year. My dad said, he's like, hey, this is the year that colleges look at for grades, and I will pay for you to go all the way, like college, law school, everything. Like I would love for you to be a lawyer. And I understand now because I love to argue. So looking back, I'm like, I could see that. That would have been a great career for me. But at the time, it just was not, it wasn't my passion. It's not what school was not my passion. So I enlisted in the Army like the next day.
Wow. Did you have
my
any
junior
kind
year.
of like, I have a really good friend who went to the Army, but he was playing like video games from like age 6 that were like military video games. Like, did you have any kind of Army passions?
I had no idea what I was getting myself into. All I know is that they were going to pay me a salary. They were going to get me out of my hometown. And I was just going to do something different and cool.
Get to travel, see a lot of places.
Yeah, exactly. And for me, it was just getting out, but not being a freeloader. You know what I mean? Like I didn't want to just move to a city and get a dumb job and then figure it out from there. So, I mean, for me, joining the Army was the best decision. I mean, I would do it all over again.
Sure. Like you could have racked up a bunch of debt and still not known what to do with your life while going to college, but taking classes that maybe you don't really care about.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, when I was 3 years in, 2 years in, all of my friends, and I went to a Catholic high school for a lot of people ended up going to nice colleges and all that. And I remember my third year kind of being in friends, with the people that I went to high school with, and they were all 3 years into college and 3 years into debt. And I'm sure that they're all doing well now. But at the time I was like, cool, but I have a salary. Like I'm getting paid
you're
right
making
now.
money, you're building up a skill set.
Yes.
You're in the real world.
I'm in the real world. I'm getting trained. I was living in Germany, like going to Rome and Paris all the time, like just because you could jump on the train and go. Like I was like living the life from 18 to 22. And then also getting paid for it and learning the skill. And then as soon as I was done with the military, I turn around and I fall into this amazing career field where like the sky is the limit. So I feel like I did everything right. Like, I got the structure when I needed it, and now I have the freedom when I deserve it, and I'm working hard for it. And it's really fun. The military is really good. If you don't know what direction you want to go in, it will help you point you in that direction.
Any fears before you went to the military? Did you have to train before you even went to boot camp? Was there any, it was just like, I'm just going to take whatever comes at me?
Yeah. So, I mean, I joined in my junior year. So I did what was called the delayed entry program. So I trained with the local National Guard and recruiters offices for like a year and a half. They really set you up. You got to study and like learn all the different ranks, and we did some workouts and stuff like that, so that when you got to basic training, you had a sense of what you were doing. So that was really nice. But no, I had no idea that. So paint you this. So I graduated in June of 03. So I'm coming up on 20 years. I went to basic in August. I graduated school in February. I went to Germany in March of the next year, so March of 24, and I was in Iraq in April of 24.
Yeah, wow.
So less than a year from graduating from high school, I was deployed. And in 2003, like we'd been in Afghanistan, Iraq, and 9/11 had happened. Thick of it. Yeah, I was to tell you that I was such an airhead. Were your parents like deathly afraid for you and all that? They were very supportive. Oh, that's great. I think that they were deathly afraid, but they didn't. They tell me that now that I'm in my 30s, and they're like, "We can't believe you did that." But when I did at the time, they're like, "Whatever you think, darling, whatever you want." My parents are amazing. But no, I just remember getting orders to Iraq and being like, "That's a country, right?" It's so stupid. I had no idea. There are high up politician, official type people that still don't know that. It's okay. Right? Yes. So like get on. They're like, here's your M16. You're going to convoy up 9 hours up to your base. And I was like, oh, this is real. I hadn't even turned 19 yet. So it was definitely kind of a slap in the face. But I was with a really good unit and had amazing mentors and caught on really quickly. And it was fun. Like, none of it was scary? Or it was just such an adventure? I think that your adrenaline is going so fast and it's such an adventure that it's not scary. Like I'm scared now thinking about the things that I did 20 years ago. But at the time it was just cool. Yeah. Like that's why they send 19 and 20-year-olds, because their frontal lobe isn't fully developed and they're dumb. Like it was fun for me, right? Like I had such a good time. Looking back now, I'm like, oh no, there's no way that I could do that now. Yeah. And I couldn't imagine letting like my hypothetical daughter do that. That would be terrifying. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. With my kids, I constantly think of all the stupid stuff that I did. And I'm like, oh my, like what are they going to do? Like this, if I got into ridiculous stuff, like what are they? Yeah. Tell me your craziest story from when you were 22 and tell me that doesn't terrify you having children. Yeah, absolutely. And that's not have anything to do with living in Vegas. Like I lived in a really nice small town in California and we were still doing crazy stuff. If you circle back, everything that you learned through your Army experiences, how have you applied it to your current career? Really, most of my personality, I would say, is based because of the military. So my organization, my discipline, I work very hard. I have a great work ethic. So jumping into a sales job was easy for me. Because for me, I'm like, well, I've always tracked everything. I mean, I remember in the Army waking up every day and taking my measurements and getting on the scale and timing my 5 mile and then timing how fast I could change a tire. And like everything was always measured. So then joining a sales job, I was like, okay, so I just have to track how many people I talk to a day and how many door knocks and how many cold calls and what's the conversion rate. And you know what I mean? I've always been doing that. So applying it to just now I get to do it talking to people, it was easy. Yeah, mostly just the discipline, I would say. Yeah, which is huge, especially when you're self-employed. Everyone watches those videos that are like, oh, quit your 9 to 5 and be your own boss. And then they never tell you
what has to go into that and how much harder you're going to work. If you think 40 hours a week is a lot, try working for yourself. And then also just having the structure. A lot of people think like, oh, okay, I work for myself, I'm just going to chill.
Right. Well, and you hear people a lot to say, they're like, well, I don't want to have a 9-to-5 job because I don't want to have a boss. Like, okay, that's cool. But you know that your boss is the one that tells you what to do. So what are you going to do when there's nobody telling you what to do?
Right.
Are you still going to do it? Or are you not? I mean, that's why teenagers get mad at their parents because they want them to clean their room. It's like, yeah, because you won't do it on your own.
Right.
So being self-employed and being an entrepreneur, and I have to do a quick shout out to Bunker Labs. Bunker Labs is a
Hold on, Bunker Labs.
Bunker Labs is a nonprofit. Dave Berlin is heavily involved. He's a Las Vegas local that's amazing. But they are a nonprofit and they help military spouses and veterans grow and start their entrepreneurship. So if you're a military veteran and you want to start a business, you get up Bunker Labs, you get all the sales training, they help you with the LLCs, they do all of it. It's a full nonprofit.
Oh, that's amazing.
So there's lots of people that transfer from the military and end up being entrepreneurs and starting these amazing businesses, and spouses as well. People don't tell you that if you have 100% of your own discipline, you're right, you don't need a boss. But if you need a boss, then you need a boss. Like there's no other way to put it.
You need some direction if you don't have your own vision of where you want to go.
Yeah.
Did you jump into mortgages straight from the Army?
Yeah, basically. I had a 4-month little job in between. But yeah, mortgages, the Army and mortgage is my only 2 real jobs.
How did you, I feel like it's so random. Like people that I know that are in the Army, they go into some form of like weapons training or they work for the government or Secret Service.
A lot of them stay government. No, I just happened to meet this mortgage lender. He was my lender. He worked with somebody that I knew and he liked my discipline. I still remember I went into his office one day and I had this binder, 3-ring binder. It had 14 color coded tabs and everything was highlighted. And I had 4 different things. And I'm going through and organizing stuff. And he looked at me and he is a mortgage lender like I am. He still works for my same company. He's no longer a mortgage lender. He's like a top big boy boss now. But I remember him looking at that book and saying, I need you to come and run my business. So I did. I came and I ran his business and he taught me everything about the business. And then when he got promoted, I took over his business.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I've been doing that ever since. And then moved out to Vegas in 2018. We got our company started out here, got us licensed, and been just kicking pavement ever since. Vegas is a really fun for mortgage life.
Wow. Caitlin, what are your thoughts on Vegas overall? Like everyone likes to talk about the Fed and all the big macro events that are happening nationwide and worldwide. But what are your thoughts on just Vegas itself with what's going on, the growth and all the people moving here?
Yeah, I mean, Las Vegas is an amazing place to live. They've done a really good job. I mean, it's basically a giant master plan community. They did a really good job with the highways, even though they are constantly under construction. But I feel like we're just outgrowing it daily. So they just are going to have to add another lane every year for the rest of time. I really like what the government officials are doing. I think it's an amazing place to live. And if you compare it to the West Coast, if you compare it to Seattle, Portland, California, Denver, Phoenix, we're the most affordable of the big cities of anywhere west. Even like Boise, Idaho is getting expensive now. So if you want to live on the West Coast is the best coast, then Vegas is the most affordable. I will say that my one biggest gripe about Clark County in general, and I don't know if Reno and Nye and all the other counties follow along, they don't do very well with multifamilies. Like you lived in Chicago for a long time. Why aren't there more townhomes? Why aren't there more condos? Like why isn't downtown Summerlin surrounded by mid-rises? Yeah, and then townhouses and you know what I mean? Everything is a single family and all it does is take up room.
That's interesting. Yeah, because when you say like the Ogden, there's not a lot of buildings like that.
No,
or
I think
Panorama.
I want to say there's 7 high-rises and 4 mid-rises in all of Clark County. Like, why is Green Valley Ranch not all high rises and mid rises and townhouses? Like, we still have capacity for more people, but we don't have housing for more people. So we need to build up. We need to do what Denver did and what Chicago did and New York. Tampa has grown up. We don't have anywhere else to go if we keep going out. Yeah. We've got to figure out how to go up.
Okay. So Caitlin wants skyscrapers here in
Vegas.
I want
skyscrapers or at least townhomes. You know what I mean? Because here you either have a single family home where you're on top of your neighbor so you don't have a yard. So if you're going to have a single family on top of your neighbor, why not just have a townhouse? It's not like you're missing anything. Or we have condos and there's really nothing in between. So that would be my one. And for me as a real estate investor, I want to buy fourplexes. But there aren't any fourplexes. I mean, there's some on the east side, like near Sunrise Mountain, but hardly any. Like I want to buy fourplexes and Clark County needs to build some so I can buy them.
Right. Would you ever Airbnb?
Possibly. I know that Clark County is pretty strict about that. So I have
there's a lot of...
Yeah, there's a lot of restrictions. I mean, it does change the dynamic of the neighborhood, so I understand why there are restrictions.
Sure.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like the Ogden doesn't allow Airbnbs anymore. And the reason why is because people were treating it like a hotel. If I lived there and I left for work in the morning, I'd walk out and there would be like cigarette butts in the hallway. People would leave their trash in the hallway the way that like you would at a hotel. And it's kind of like, no. It's not a hotel. We live here. This is our primary residence. So I understand a little bit of the strictness, but definitely the long terms. I mean, I have a place that I'm renting right now in the Ogden or that I'm renting out, and it's amazing. So yeah, this is definitely a great place to buy real estate.
Yeah. So now you want like a duplex and a fourplex. And
Yep.
Very nice. Very nice. Okay. Caitlin, where can people find your work, your business? How do they get a hold of you? If you want them to get a hold of you, if you don't want them to get a hold of you.
No, they can definitely get a hold of me. I mean, like he said, I'm a mortgage lender, and being so embedded in the military, community, I specialize in VA loans. So one of my favorite things to do is to help veterans calculate how much entitlement they have left and what they can do for a down payment and all that fun stuff, which I realize for you, David, is going over your head. But the military,
That's great. That's fine.
Military will understand like calculating entitlement and how many homes can you buy with your VA loan is a really big subject. But no, so Facebook is honestly the best way that I use that for my sole communication, really. So my name on there is Caitlin Synergy Squad, which is my team name. So I'm Synergy Squad at Union Home Mortgage, or my website, synergysquaduhm.com. But yeah, Facebook, Caitlin Synergy Squad, that's me. I don't have anybody else running it. It's not AI. That's actually me. You can message me. I'd love to answer your questions.
We're still human.
Yes, exactly. Although AI is super cool. I'm getting into it.
I know. It's unavoidable. It's like, okay, all right, I'll give in.
Have to.
But I think we can coexist. I don't think it will replace people.
No, I think it's just going to enhance us.
Absolutely. Just like technology has for the entire, duration of our species.
Exactly.
People are always afraid of something new. Like, with the electric cars, like, but it's just new technology. We like to be comfortable. We don't like change. So when things come out, it's always met with, it's going to replace like Armageddon. It's always going to be that. It's not,
exactly. No, I love the saying. It says something about the only thing that will kill your business is avoiding change and avoiding movement.
That's great. You do have a lot of good quotes on your Facebook.
Oh,
a lot of like inspirational quotes. And,
I try. I feel like there's so much negativity in the world right now.
Totally.
And everybody can find something to complain about where I'm like, I just be positive. Be positive about yourself. Be positive about your business.
It's easy to complain, right?
It's so easy to complain, but you don't realize that what you focus on expands. And so if you wake up every day and you read 10 motivational quotes that get you going, that's what you're going to focus on all day. And maybe it will change your mindset.
And same for going to bed. Like I always tell Mary, my wife, I'm like, don't like watch anything depressing or don't read anything that's negative because your mind is going to marinate on that.
Right. You're going to dream about it all night.
Yeah. Like it's going to be in your head, like the whole 8 hours, you're going to wake up feeling, not so great. So I like that. Very nice.
I put alcohol and good mindset into my body. That's about it.
It's a great combination.
Drinks and motivational quotes.
Very nice. Very nice. Name a either happy hour bar or like a favorite. I mean, I know we already talked about the military bar, but give me one more and we could say cheers and we'll get on out of here.
Yeah, so I go to Kona Grill for happy hour a lot. That's where I would meet a lot of the real estate agents that I meet and sometimes closings and stuff. It's
Boca Park right here?
Boca Park,
right next to the Cheesecake Factory?
Yeah, it's a great place to sit on the patio or sit at a high top and watch the game. I bring my laptop, I get some work done, and then people socialize a lot. So yeah, Kona Grill is really cool.
Love it. All right. I feel like, to end on a suburban bar, that's the way to go. We started downtown and then we made our way to the burbs. We're coexisting with both lifestyles.
Ooh, can I do one more?
Absolutely,
Sorry, Al's Garage. So if
Al's
you talk
Garage.
so Al's Garage.
I always pass it on the way to Red Rock or coming back from Red Rock. Oh,
you have to stop. It's so cool. So Al's Garage, it's west of the 215 on Charleston. It's a local bar. I think the owners own 3 or 4 places, but Al's Garage is his own.
Okay.
It's a gaming bar, but it's no smoking, which is really cool.
If
you're a non-smoker, you can go in. And if you sit out on like the patio tables, you can bring kids too. But we watch VGK games out there. But that's a great local suburb spot on the west side.
Wow. Okay. And nothing against people who do smoke, but like for me, it's just I don't want to be inside of a smoky. I'm too soft.
Well, and I don't mind it on the outside. I don't mind patios, and you can smoke in lots of places. But if that's just not what you're looking for at the time, it's really nice to be able to go and eat and watch a game, be indoors, and it's just a really cool community.
And that's an interesting thing that only Vegas has, these gaming bars.
Yep.
Which even in Chicago, like you don't have gaming. There's no gaming other than in this town. And so people, when we say gaming bars, it's literally a bar and a restaurant that has video poker machines
in the bar
and, slot machines or whatever. Just, it's normal. It's just, you can walk up to the bar and it's a big video poker, like right there at the bar. And then, you can play or not play.
Yeah. Like you can sit there. When I very first moved here, I didn't know anybody really. And that was I'm a big sports fan. But it's hard to go out to eat by yourself, right? If you're completely single and you're alone. So I would go to gaming bars and I'd sit and I'd put $20 in the machine and I'd watch, the Cowboys game or VGK or, something like that. And I would just, and in between commercials, instead of looking awkwardly at your phone and just acting like you're alone, you just hit like the spin button a few times and then the game would come back on and you could do that for 3 hours. Like I could make $20 last 3 hours.
And they'll give you a free drink, right?
Yeah,
most of the
every
time
once in a while.
If you put your $20 in the machine.
And it's fun. And then gradually you can start to socialize if you want to, but it gets rid of that little bit of anxiety of going places alone.
Sure. And each one of these gaming bars is different. Like they don't all look the same. Like some of them are high end, some of them are, hole in the wall, like neighborhood bar kind of vibe, and everywhere in between.
Definitely its own culture.
Yeah. Very fun. Well, cheers to that, Caitlin. Thanks for being here on Vegas Faces. I loved having you and love to have you again.
I appreciate it. Thanks.
All right.